What up, everybody? Esoteric Eddie here. Namaste. Today's guest is a special person in my life. Very amazing guest. This is one of those episodes where you're going to get to meet somebody who I've known for pretty much all my adult life and maybe even before then. So we're going to get into her amazing journey with music, being an artist, maybe getting into her journey with overcoming cancer, being a single mom, maybe getting into her story about overcoming, a very difficult relationship, and just so many other things. She's an interesting person with a lot to share. Please, everybody, welcome my friend, Sally, also known as Mami Blush.
Hey, what up?
Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me. Namaste.
Absolutely. Namaste. And my third camera is still down, so we only have the two angles. So if you're watching, bear with us. If you're not watching, it doesn't matter. Hey. All right. So, we got a lot to get into.
Yeah. Let's dig in.
So, we've known each other for, like 15, at least 15 years.
Yeah. It's like such a trip to think about because, when was I working with Eddie? I always say, I think I was like 21.
Yeah, the other Eddie.
The other Eddie, our homie, Swazo.
Yeah, Swazo. The two Eds.
And so, 21, was around that time.
You were 21?
I want to say, yeah.
And you're?
34 now.
34.
Almost 35.
Oh, shit. Wow.
Yeah.
God damn.
I know.
That was, Yeah, I know. I was thinking about, what was the first memory I have of you? And I think it was, I remember the first memory. I don't know if this is the first time I met you, but it's the first memory I have. And Swazo was like, yeah, we got to go to my friend Sally's party or whatever. And it was somewhere here in Fallbrook. And I think you were performing. I just remember, I was already super high and drunk, and I was, walking into, some greenhouse or something, some sort of encampment. It was kind of long, though.
Okay.
And we walked in, and you came, and you, gave us a hug and everything, and there's, a lot of music, and you were playing guitar, too. You're performing at this party thing. I don't know.
Are you talking about Insert Label here?
Maybe.
Okay, I think that was the valley in Oceanside, but not too far from here. But
it was a house show though.
Yeah.
It was on a property.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I remember.
It was cool though, but that was the earliest memory I have. But I don't know what yours was for me.
Yeah, let's see. It was after Eddie and I had been working together for a while. And I don't know, at some point he was, he does photos. So we were playing around and I was doing some modeling. And I think he just cruised with him one day. And I don't remember exactly what shoot, but I think that was our introduction to each other.
Okay.
And I know that we did have one shoot here in Fallbrook at Hannah's parents' house.
Yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah, that one was fucking sick. I love those photos.
Yeah.
It was so artsy.
I got in trouble for that one.
Why?
Yeah, I remember my ex, she was like, you better not go over there. I'm like, I'm fucking going. Yeah, man. That's one of the things that brought us together was music, was art. Yeah, you were and still are very much into modeling.
Yeah.
And taking photos. Most of your, most if not all of your cover photos for your songs are photo shoots that you do. And
a lot of them are. There's a few of them where I've done some other things or featured my friend's art, or there's one picture that's of my friend instead, just because the pictures fits perfectly. So I was like, can I use this picture, please? But yeah, a lot of them, it's mostly it's kind of weird saying modeling, but that is what it is. And it's just weird to reference myself as a model, I guess. It's always
a model.
It's always felt weird, but it's super fun, and I like creating art to promote my other art. Yeah. So it's just kind of feeds itself. So it's kind of cool to create.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it all feeds. Yeah, I'm the same way. Like, I got music, the videos, everything just kind of goes into itself.
Yeah.
You know, I like that. You know, I don't like putting myself in one box. You know, and for so long, as you knew, I was just like an MC.
Yeah.
But I was always more than that. Always. I mean, I was a writer. I mean, as an MC, you're writing. And so, writer, graphic designer, just so many things. So it's like I don't like to just be one thing, because we're not.
Yeah.
We're so many things.
Yeah.
As you are.
Multifaceted beings.
A multifaceted diamond. I always think of a diamond when I use that word, multifaceted.
Yeah.
It's got the different layers to it.
Totally.
Different shining angles.
Yeah.
But yeah, so let's get a little bit into your story. So you go by Mami Blush now.
I go by Mami Blush now, yeah. There's kind of been an evolution with the name. I went by Blush for a really long time. And especially when I was in Burp, that was like, the acronym for Burp is BRRP. And
that was your rap crew that you were in.
Yeah. That was after Straight to the Head. But Burp was really, really cool and special because that was like really where I got to like experiment with my writing, you know? But anyways, I'm getting sidetracked. The acronym is Blush Remarkable Remorser Productions.
Well,
so that's what Burp stood for.
Oh, those are all the different people?
Yeah.
Blush, Remarkable, what was it?
Remorser
Productions.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that. I just knew the dude as Rome.
Rome, yeah, he goes. So he's Jerome in real life,
okay.
yeah. And so his like stage name is Remarkable. Yeah.
Remarkable.
And so I call him Rome for
What's
short.
What's he up to?
He moved to Arizona a few years ago. Like I want to say around the time that I was pregnant with Sebastian.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so that kind of like we had finished up this EP around that time, but it just kind of fizzled out after that, you know, because we were already working on it for like a few years. So we're like, let's just release it still.
yeah, let it out.
Yeah.
So you also play guitar and sing. Did that come first?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How far back does music go for you?
It goes pretty far back. I would say I started like in 4th grade. So that's like what, age 10? Yeah. And that was violin, but then we moved.
Damn, violin.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
We moved, and so from Oceanside to Fallbrook, and at Fallbrook they didn't have orchestra, they had bands. So then I switched to clarinet. And so then like throughout my whole elementary and high school, I played clarinet, and so...
Can you still get down?
Probably. I haven't played in a while, but like...
You should do
I'd be very rusty.
A sample for a beat or something.
That'd be cool. Yeah, that'd be cool. I'll have to try it out. I'll have to get some new reeds and maybe clean my clarinet. It's probably gross, but...
Oh, shit, yeah.
Maybe not, though. Maybe it's fine. But
yeah, pristine. Maybe it's in pristine condition. Untouched, preserved by the innocence of your childhood.
Oh, man, I wish.
Right. Okay,
but yeah, so it was band, and then in high school, where I lived in Fallbrook, there just wasn't really like a lot to do, and there's like a lot of churches out here, and a lot of my friends went to like youth group and stuff, so I just started going to youth group with them. Like,
that was the thing to do
throughout the week. Well, for me and the group of friends that I had during that time, you know, so I was like, fuck it, let's go to youth group, you know, and
youth
like,
group.
And I had some other like religious upbringing a little bit with like grandparents, you know, but it wasn't like at the forefront, you know, and it wasn't like my parents forced me to go in high school, you know, it was just like,
that's something I definitely want to get into with you, because I know you've kind of you're more inclined to, I guess, atheism or even Satanism.
I would say I'm like an agnostic leaning atheist, but like I'm still very spiritual, you know, like I'm very into like theology and like knowledge, I guess, but yeah, I'm not a Satanist. I read the book of Satanism once, but like I don't think that makes me a Satanist.
Yeah, I just didn't know, because I knew you were
kidding.
I did see that you were like playing around with the idea at least a little bit.
I would say that I mean, it's probably one of my more favorite religions, but I'm not really super into like any one religion. You know, I don't think that any one is like the correct opinion or like way to view it, you know?
Yeah, I can respect that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't judge you. Like I've read the book too, the Satanic Bible, and you know, I dive into all kinds of occult stuff myself. You know what I mean? So I just thought it was interesting.
It was a good read for sure.
Yeah.
And then there was a part where I just kind of didn't resonate, and then I kind of stopped reading it. But like, I'm gonna have to finish it up. But like, yeah, I know a few people have called me a Satanist this year, and I'm like, whoa, just
I know, right?
like just 'cause
I get that all the time. Shit, even my girlfriend still thinks I'm a Satanist and shit. Like,
yeah.
you know, she's like, you better start reading those books. Or
I'm
whatever.
like, well, they do make a lot of good points, though. Like, you know.
Yeah. Well, LaVey, I have my own critiques about LaVey, the author. Cool guy, interesting guy, but it's just like anybody else. You know, he was just putting forth his opinions. You know, his opinions, his beliefs. But he was a crazy guy.
Yeah.
His daughter's an interesting person. She's got some interesting interviews and stuff like that out there. She even kind of exposed him later on as kind of just being like a charlatan.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, he was paving the way for a lot of people in that belief system, but he was kind of just like a bitter, angry intellect.
Yeah.
Actually, in the beginning of the book, he's just kind of talking shit about a lot of the classical occultists, like Levi, Crowley and stuff, who were like, Crowley was like truly satanic. Levi was just more of like just a bitter, atheistic intellect.
Yeah.
So like, I don't think it's like satanic to read his work or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
It's just like very like heavy intellect.
Well, and it's like basically centered around like humanism, like being a human, you know, and like, I guess like living shame-free, you know, which like I can kind of get behind, you know, but I wouldn't say that every single thing resonates with me. But it was a good read, and like, you know, I was always interested, and it was a gift from my ex-boyfriend, so I was like, well, I should read this book, you know, like it was a gift.
Yeah. All right. So you're growing up in sort of like a religious family, but not strict.
Yeah, like my parents, my mom was never forced me to go to church. Like she did go to church with me a few times, like in high school, but it wasn't like we had to, you know. She was just like kind of getting back into it. So we went to this one church together, but I went to a different church with my other friends a lot because that was the one they went to, you know, and like, so I just have like a lot of different experiences. And like, I had another friend who was like Mormon. And so like, I went to the Mormon church a few times, and like, I don't know, I just feel like I've had a lot of different experiences. So I'm just like, I'm kind of open to it all, you know? Yeah. But yeah, again, not any one has resonated with me, you know, and like,
yeah, we can get into that later. I definitely want to touch on that because it's an interesting subject, and I can tell you have been exploring it as of lately, at least with the book and everything. But all right, so how do you first start becoming your own artist? How does that happen?
My own artist. So at the youth group, I did start playing like some keyboards a little bit and like doing some background vocals. And then I kind of got into like acoustic guitar. And then I learned like a few Christian songs or whatever. And then like once I was like a senior in high school or something, I just kind of like stopped. I like had a different group of friends, and I think I got a boyfriend, and like just wasn't really into going to like church and stuff like that. And I know. So I want to say it was like senior year, or maybe like right after graduation or something.
Yeah.
I wasn't into it, and so, you know, I got into partying, and then like I think my first open mic was probably like 19 or 20, but I think I only read poetry. Like I had written some poetry in high school and like was doing some, like during my heavy partying days, just writing poetry. So I like first read some poetry, and then I think a few other times after that for open mic, then I tried guitar. But like I was so nervous and like couldn't like finish the songs and stuff.
Oh,
and like
no.
yeah.
Where was it?
That one specifically, like the memory for the one where I couldn't finish the song was at Maui Wowie, which was this coffee shop I used to work at. And one of the other people like was putting on the open mic, and I was like, oh, well, I'll come sing a few songs, you know? But yeah, there was this one song and I was so nervous and I couldn't finish it. And I was like,
no.
ah! And I was like, we're just going to end it now.
No.
But yeah, that was
Maui,
probably like 19. I was probably like 19, 20 around that time.
Jeez. Yeah.
And then that was right before I started working at Mega 5, which is where I met the other Eddie, which was like, around 21.
Interesting.
And then I got into Straight to the Head.
Straight to the Head, and that was the band.
The punk band, yeah. Which I don't know if you ever saw us play, but that was...
I might have. I don't know. I don't remember, but I might have.
I think Swazo and DJ came to one of my shows. But that didn't last too long. And then I started kind of making music with Burp. And then, you know, I had a baby, kind of gave up on music a little bit, and then, you know, broke up with his dad, and then I just, like, got back heavy into music after that, you know? Yeah. And it was also, like, quarantine, and, like, I got diagnosed with cancer, like, all around the same, like, year pretty much. Jeez. So, like, 2019 to 2021. So I guess that's a 2-year span, but...
Yeah,
a lot happened just like right then and there. And so like,
I also want to know, before we get into that, because that's a very deep thing, what about like being comfortable in front of the camera? Like, how did that come about for you? Because you're so comfortable now taking pictures and everything.
I guess that's been a very long journey, weird journey. I've thought about that. Back to the MySpace days, you know, okay, like taking selfies and like MySpace angles and stuff. And like, I don't know, I guess I've kind of always been into myself that way, like to like even want to take selfies, like what the fuck, who does that? But, and then, met Swazo later on, like,
who was our photographer friend.
The other Eddie I keep mentioning.
Well, he actually played a huge role in me being comfortable in front of cameras as well.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
Once I met him, and then we started doing a few like experimental things. I think he had seen some of my open mic stuff, and because some of my earliest pictures with him are with me and my acoustic guitar.
Oh wow.
And like right before I met you probably. And so he was doing like some promo photos for me and going to open mics, you know?
Yeah, that's how I met him too. Like our mutual friend brought us together because I was doing my rap stuff and he was doing his photography stuff. He's like, well, you guys should work together. And so that's how we became homies. And this has been a great journey ever since.
Yeah.
And he just became a father.
I know. I saw the post. So cute.
Little boy. Little Eddie.
I know. He's got a mini me.
That's going to be a trip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's going to be a good dad.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, he's a great uncle, so that'll translate for sure.
Yeah.
Into his fatherhood. But, okay. Yeah, so you met, so he played like a pretty crucial role, I guess.
So again, that was probably like around 21. And, you know, the years after that, like 21 to, I got pregnant with Bash when I was 27.
Okay. 27, wow.
Like right after my 27th birthday.
Wasn't that long ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Wait, what were we just talking about? Oh my gosh, I just
just
lost. Oh, Eddie. So
yeah.
so the years between like meeting him and then having Bash, like we've done like different like photo shoots, and then
Yeah.
I think we finished up like me and Rome were like, let's do a music video, and I asked Eddie if he could help me with it, and so we did Sunflowers in a Summer Dress.
Yeah, I was there.
Yeah, and you were there for that one. That one was cool
Yeah,
because we
it's
did like
still in my head. Sunflowers, sunflowers in a summer dress.
it's a catchy one
Yeah.
for sure. And
Yeah, we played it like 1,000 times that night. Yeah. We're working on the music video.
yeah, and so we did a milk bath photo shoot, and
I remember
like,
that one. That
yeah,
was iconic.
super
Yeah.
iconic with the sunflowers.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you too. Like, I mean, since I've known you, you've been comfortable being, basically nude
Yeah.
in front of camera. So, like, what was that first photo shoot like? Like, what was it? The first time getting kind of nude in front of the camera, and then like all that. Like, was that?
So I would say that was no, that wasn't the. That was probably the first time like going full nude, but there was like other girls there who had like experience modeling,
Yeah.
So I think that made me really comfortable. And then we also had Vicky there, who was
Yeah.
a photographer too, and she brought her other photographer friend Caitlin, and then my friend Hannah was there. So I think just like having a group of women there, and we're all making art together, and like you guys were super respectful too, so
Yeah.
and like plus I've known you for like at that point I knew you guys like probably only like 3 years, but
Yeah.
you were my peers, we've grown up together, so
Yeah.
I think that for that particular situation, that's what made it really comfortable for me,
Nice. Yeah. Just doing it for the art.
And then, before that, I had done a few photo shoots with Vicky and Hannah. And that wasn't like full nude, but it was like very like sheer clothing. And like we were actually at the Santa Margarita River
Oh wow.
in Duluth, like in the water, just like trying to be like little fairies or like swamp creatures. I don't know. Like
Yeah. Vicky was she was like ahead of her time, dude. I remember she was one of the first people I ever knew that was like doing nude stuff on Instagram, but like in a very artistic way.
Yeah.
And then she kind of like just went hermit mode and isolated herself for so long.
Yeah.
But I talked to her about that a while back. I was like, dude, like you should come back and like get back into it, And,
Yeah.
But yeah, she was another one of those people that like played an integral role in my broadening of art. Because she was, one of the first people I saw on Instagram doing like the black and white, like nude stuff. And I was like, whoa, like this is like.
Well, because she's into film too, So it's like she was just super artsy and very particular about it. And I definitely remember that era. For sure.
Okay, all right. So you're making music, you're starting to party, getting into all of that. And so you're leaving the youthful days of youth group.
Of youth group, yep, of like being very strict with myself, really. Like I said, no one brought it on me but myself. So
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
A lot of people like assume that my parents made me go, but my stepdad's like ex-Mormon and my mom isn't super into religion at all,
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, she went a few times like in high school with me, but it just wasn't ever like, even when we were kids, she wasn't like, all right, let's go to church,
Yeah.
She was just like, I'm a fucking single mom. I have 3 jobs. Like, I don't have fucking time to go to church. Like,
I got time for Jesus.
Yeah.
That's interesting that you brought it onto yourself. You know? Like I grew up in a Catholic and Christian home, and my mom wasn't like strict, but she definitely made it a point for us to like have that in our lives in a sweet way. She would pray with us at night, take us to church on Sundays. My dad was Catholic, but like he like never pushed it on us ever. He always left it up to us. Like, you can go to church with your mom, or you can come to church with me. Up to you. Which I thought was pretty powerful, and I appreciated later in my life. I appreciated how my dad like never pushed it on us, never like talked to us about God or anything unless we asked him. Yeah. Which I like that, and that's kind of like how I would like to be, if and when I have kids. I think it's more powerful that way. Whereas like my mom's side of the family was all like, the devil's gonna get you. You know, like, oh fuck, all right.
Yeah. Well, so I guess like I said, other extended parts of my family, like my grandparents, if we ever went to visit them, like they live in another state, so we would go to church with them, you know, but again, that was only like for summer vacation or something, you know.
Well, you said you kind of brought it on yourself. Was there like a point in your life where you like believed in Jesus and like God were kind of like religious? Really?
Yeah. Fuck yeah. I was a Jesus freak, bro.
No way.
Yeah, fuck
What
yes.
the heck?
So like during high school, so like this is kind of going to get really deep, but like during my childhood, my dad was like super addicted to drugs and like making a lot of fucking interesting life choices. And, you know, I didn't really know God. Like I again, went to church with my grandparents a little bit, but I would just pray that he would get better, you know? And then he had another baby, like my little sister. And I was just like, please, you know, just like have him get better. And he did. And he turned to God. And for a long time, you know, that really made me believe. But there was a turning point for me too, where it was like, okay, so he's not addicted to drugs anymore, but he's like addicted to church and God. And sorry, I'm like crying. I just like don't talk about this a lot.
Yeah. Take your time.
But yeah, so yeah, but I was definitely a Jesus freak for a few years, you know, because I was like, wow, the power of prayer, you know, like I asked for this for so long and he's better now, you know, like God has to be real. And yeah. And then also music, like once I would go to church and like, I just felt so connected with the music and, you know, again, prayer and singing and like, it was all like life-changing and like learning guitar and keyboards. I like, all that's tied into church for me, you know, like anytime I play the guitar, it's like, I really have the church to thank for that, you know, because that's how I got into it, really. But it's bittersweet because I don't, you know, I don't have that connection to church or religion necessarily anymore. But I think it's the, like the abandonment that I felt from my dad and wanting a sense of community. I think that really brought me comfort during that time, you know?
Yeah.
But like even the work that we've done in the past year, like with House of Soma, like that's why I felt so connected to doing that work, because I do believe in like recovery, and I do believe in like community, and I'm not super into like being super religious about it, but I don't know. I guess that's where all those pieces kind of connect, you know? Like, I'm sorry again for getting so emotional about it, but it's just like, I don't talk about it a lot because I get like this. Yeah. But I do make references in my music and like, you know, in my actions and how I live and like, yeah, but that's kind of where it all came up, you know, like, where did it all happen? In my childhood, really, you know?
Yeah. So. Wow. I mean, thank you for sharing that. You know, that was really big. Yeah, that's a very deep story and motivation to have to keep going. But yeah, I didn't know that about you, that you were like a Jesus freak.
Yeah.
You know?
In high school, I was like, okay, I just brought this up to my friend the other day. She like brought this person and it had like 2 pink crosses, like kind of gothic, kind of like 90s alternative style.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's like so not of this world. Do you remember that store?
Yeah.
I was like, that was like the Christian hot topic.
Yeah. Not of this world.
Yeah, Jesus freak, like Toby Mac stuff, and like.
I was just thinking recently, like, how funny it would be to like rock a shirt that says like radical Christian. You know, or like specifically I had a thought for Islamists, because you know how people always talk about like radical Islam? Like radical Islam are like terrorists. And it's unfair because that's like a perverted version of Islam. You know, the terrorist part of it, that's not in the Quran. You know, I have friends who are like Islamic, and they know a lot about the Quran, and basically there's been a socialization of it and that has perverted it, you know. And so radical Islam is not the terrorist Islam. Radical Islam is like being faithful to Allah, to God, and having morals and ethics. That's radical Islam. So I thought it'd be cool if like an Islamic like wore a shirt that said radical Islam, or like I'm a radical Islamist, you know, or a Christian, like radical Christian, you know, because a radical Christian, it would be somebody who like just worships God, you know, follows the Bible, you know.
Well, and that like, it kind of reminds me of like, when I was really young, I remember asking my mom, because again, she wasn't like super, you know, into going to church. And I was like, I must have been like 6 or 7. And I was like, Mom, what is God? Like, what is religion? Like, why, you know? And she was like, you know, you don't have to go to church to like have faith, you know, like you can still have a relationship with God or have faith in your heart and have your own like thing, you know?
Yeah.
And so that always kind of stuck with me, but like, I think I was just always so curious. And I think just like with whatever upbringing I had with church, you know, with my grandparents when I went, and then in high school, like, I don't know. I kind of just lost my train of thought for a second.
No worries. You're just talking about, just how you found Christianity, I guess. And, I mean, I'm still like, just kind of like shocked that it meant so much to you early on. And
oh yeah.
Were you like, could you like remember Bible verses and stuff like that?
So 1 Corinthians 10:13 is like, God won't give you anything that you can't handle.
Okay.
Which I still kind of think is true, you know, like even though I don't go to church and I don't necessarily pray, anytime something hard comes up, I'm like, I'm going to get through this, you know. I don't know how, but it's going to happen, and I might have a panic attack or 5, but but I'm going to make this shit fucking happen, you know.
Yeah.
And probably because of that, you know. John 3:16, you know, God gave his only begotten son.
Yeah. Which is a whole weird thing that I've been like kind of understanding more lately. Like, if you'd like to hear it.
Yeah,
it's kind of weird. I think the people might like to hear it. I like to dwell on these things sometimes, and I've been like asking myself, what does that even mean? You know what I mean? Like, because isn't Jesus God? So it's like, it's not like he gave his son because it's him. I don't know. That whole thing is weird. But, you know, a lot of people like to say that like the Old Testament God is evil because he commanded so much bloodshed. And I get that, right? Like the Old Testament God definitely was some vengeful, weird being. But I feel like, okay, so just philosophically speaking here, right? Like, so if God was like this, like kind of vindictive, vengeful God in the Old Testament and caused a lot of bloodshed, and strangely actually asked the bloodshed of a lot of children. Like, for example, like he asked Abraham to take his son, I believe it was Isaac, to Mount Moriah and tie him up and kill him, but then stop that from happening at the last minute. And then also like ordered like the firstborn of the Egyptians to be killed or whatever, like a lot of like crazy shit. So I think to like make that all right, you know, God came down in the form of man or whatever, or gave his son Jesus and then killed him. So it was like a weird way of God, a really weird way of God saying, I'm sorry. And I understand your pain, and I understand what I've asked all of you to do. So now I'm going to do this of myself. I'm going to put myself on the cross and humiliate myself in front of all of you and let you kill me now. And so it was like this weird way of him like setting it right in a way. I don't know. It was just a weird.
I like that.
Yeah, it was just like a weird way of him saying,
perspective.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I fucked up. You know, and then so at that point, like the slate was clean between all of us. Like everything was forgiven. What God did to us, what we've done to God, and so now it's like we're all working on a clean slate. Mm-hmm. I guess that's just kind of the way I view it now.
I can get behind that view for sure. Yeah.
But okay, so wow, so you started off as an innocent Christian child.
A child of God.
A child of God. And then now you're this new
and now I'm this
crazy
fucking
artist.
manic pixie fucking mess. No.
Shit. We can sort it out. Let's bring you back to God. All right. So what was your first like artist name?
My first artist name, I think I kind of just went by Sally. Like if I went to open mics, I would just write Sally. And then I think Blush came on pretty quick because that was actually like a tagging name of mine.
Yeah, you were a tagger for a while, right?
Yeah, and my friend kind of like, he was like macking on some girl at a party or whatever. Not macking, but he was just like spitting game, and he's like, oh yeah, you should write Blush. And it was like some chick who just didn't do anything artsy, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I don't even remember who this person was, but...
Yeah.
And I was like, bruh, Blush? I was like, are you gonna take that name? She's like, what? Like, I have no idea. And I was like, because that's my fucking name now.
Yeah, like, fuck no, that's me.
I was like, my cheeks are always red. It always looks like I'm blushing. That is my fucking name. I was like, thank you, Empty. And he was like, okay, whatever. Like,
he's like, bro, I'm trying to spit game right now. What are you doing?
Yeah.
You over here having like a revelation and shit?
Yeah. I'm having like a fucking, not existential crisis. What's the thing?
Epiphany.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It started with an E. That's what it was. But yeah, so that's kind of how that came on. But I was, that was a tagging name. But then I was like, you know, I'm not really good at like painting and like drawing.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why I'm tagging. I'm just going to stick to music, do what I'm good at. And like, it was an all girls crew. So I was like, well, they can stick to like the artsy things because they're actually good at like drawing and tagging and like painting. But I'm the musician of the group. Like, I need to focus on the music, you know, and like that's going to be my role. But it's not really like a thing anymore. But we're all super tight still. We're all homegirls.
Yeah. Nice.
There's some I've definitely grown up with them. Yeah, we've had some times. Okay.
Any notable things you want to share that kind of made you who you are today?
Well, one of the girls I ran into the other day, and she was just, she brought up the story of, we went under the Bonsall Bridge, and we were all looking for a place, you know, to go painting, and we started going a little further, and we like were stepping on this like bamboo, like dried bamboo on the ground. Yeah. And all of a sudden, all these like, I think they were like hornets or yellow jackets or something, started swarming, and we thought they were bees. Yeah. But those don't die after they sting you, and then they don't just sting you, they also bite you. Oh shit. And so like they were like getting in our hair, and then we started like running back to the car, but they were like in our hair, in our clothes. One of them like crawled in my shorts and underneath my underwear, like on my friend's like, remember that one that was like on your pussy? I was like, oh my God.
Dude,
I was like, I kind of forgot about that, but now I remember.
That's epic.
Yeah, and like she's like, yeah, and I had him in my hair. It was like crawling. We couldn't get it out. And our one friend who's a redhead, she like didn't get stung at all. And we're like, what? And we looked it up, and it was like dark hair or dark colors they're more attracted to. So we're like, you're so fucking lucky you didn't get fucking stung by the fucking hornets or whatever.
The ginger one.
Yeah.
Okay, we found the one thing that the gingers are powerful for. Escaping hornets.
Yeah. Yellow jackets, whatever.
Yellow jackets. Epic. What was I gonna say? Dun, dun, dun. Okay. All right. So you're coming into your own as blush tagger. Oh, that was what I was gonna say. I understand the tagging thing because I grew up. My two older brothers are like really good graffiti artists and like actual good like illustrative artists. I didn't get that gene. Like I like to doodle and draw. Like I would make comic books as a kid and shit. But I understand you on that. I was a tagger, a bomber.
Yeah.
That shit was fun, you know,
Yeah.
like it was super fun tagging and bombing and everything. And I still kind of do it sometimes, like, you know, but there came a point too where I was like, I'm not good at this shit,
Yeah.
you know, like, because it's a whole world, you know,
Yeah.
and that whole world centers around respect.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you got to gain respect and everything. And like, there came a point where it's like, dude, I'm not good at this shit. Like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
there's a point where I can't compete. So it's like, I'm going to just leave this alone. But it's interesting to see it come back. Like the whole, like the, what do you call it? Like the, I don't know, the hipster art scene, I guess is a way to say it. Like there's a whole new trend that has come in with graffiti now where like anybody can do it. You know what I mean? Like any style is a style.
Yeah.
Which is cool. Like
Yeah.
I get that. You know what I mean? Like any style is a style, but like it's losing that like central respect part of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like where the old heads are just rolling in their grave kind of thing. You know?
Yeah.
So, but whatever.
That's kind of how the music is too, music industry, you
Yeah.
know, like I feel like that's how we keep coming up with new genres of music. Like we keep mixing stuff together and coming up with new stuff, but like yeah, I'm sure there's old musicians rolling in their graves too. Like, what the fuck is this kind of music? You
Yeah.
know, like listening to trap or something. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, it
'Cause I
took
always
me a
used to
while.
think about that when I was a kid. I'd be like, okay, so there's pop, there's like rock, you know, what's there going to be like 50 years from now, you know? What kind of music is going to be invented by then? And I don't know why I always thought about that, but I was like,
Yeah.
how do people do that? How do people just make new genres?
Yeah.
But we're doing it all the fucking time now, you know, like 30 years later, I guess.
Yeah, and like, some cycles come back, some fashions come back. Yeah, it's interesting how like hip hop started with sampling. So it was like real music turned into sampling, turned into hip hop. But a lot of like the hip hop heads are going back to real music. So I think a lot of the real music that's being made today, you know, like the live bands and stuff is going to turn back into samples, which maybe one day will turn back into hip hop again.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably. It all recycles itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there might be like a boom bap era again sometime. I don't think it's going to be anytime soon because trap still has like a stronghold
Yeah.
in entertainment. And so whatever the entertainment industry is making money off of is kind of going to take precedent, at least on the mainstream level. Because hip hop was kind of mainstream at one point.
Yeah.
It was like in all the movies and everything, like it was like the stronghold. But it's lost that stronghold.
Yeah.
But it might come back. I don't know. Like some like young kids like 20 years from now might think it's cool and like bring it back.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, country and rap are kind of merging now too,
Yeah.
you know? And like
Yeah.
country is a lot of like live bands. But then like, yeah, you see like Post Malone going from hip hop to country and he's playing at Stagecoach and stuff, you know? Like,
I know some people are mad at that. I see on the comments and shit like, oh wow, now that he made it big, he's like leaving hip hop. Like he just used hip hop to get where he's at. I mean, I don't know.
I think
But-
I've heard that argument. I think it's cool to see people doing more than one genre because honestly, I'm like, again, like multifaceted being, you know,
Yeah.
like go ahead and like explore all different aspects of yourself, you know, like
Heck yeah.
You don't have to stick to pop music. You don't have to stick to rock music. Like, that's why I like to, like, push myself and, like, be in bands sometimes, you know, but it doesn't always work out, so I just stick to Mami Blush. But, like, it's fun to explore other genres and, like, not just do one thing all the time, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't blame artists when they do that. Like, I don't think it's selling out. I think they're just being an artist, you know? It's an evolution of the art.
Fuck yeah. Yeah, we were just talking in the car, like, I did that the past couple of years, like, been playing with more sounds and everything. And yeah, it's a good thing to do. Exercise the artistic brain, the artistic heart. But yeah, getting back into your story. So you said 2019-ish was like when you hit another really tough point in your life.
Yeah, 2019, that is when I broke up with my kid's dad. And
yeah,
it was...
I know that was a really tough thing. Do you want to touch on that a little bit, or is that like a...
We'll just be super brief on it. No, like,
yeah. And the only reason I
details.
think it would be a good reason too is because I think it might be good for some other women out there to hear maybe your story. And
so it was like definitely on and off, like, abusive, but it really took me having a kid to get out of it, which sometimes I wish it wasn't that, but also I'm thankful that my child gave me that strength, you know. But I couldn't raise him in a house where it was just, you know, full of negativity and, like, anger all the time. So, but that's what happened in 2019. But also, you know, mourning that loss and, like, you know, wanting to have that family and, like, being so close to it. And, like, witnessing my mom be a single mom my whole life, or not my whole life, but when I was a kid, was really hard. And I was like, no matter how hard I tried, I still fucking ended up being just like my mom, you know? And so that was really hard. And it brought on, like, a lot of depression. And I was partying really, really, really hard. Just trying to numb the pain. I couldn't face, like, I just couldn't face any of it, you know? But that's really what brought that on. And then, you know, trying to clean up my act, got a job. Or I had a job that whole time, got a second job that paid better. And then quarantine happened. So, you know, really had to just sit with my emotions and, like, yeah, some of my unemployment went to partying some more. Because I had the fucking time to do it. But then I want to say, like, early 2021 or, like, halfway through, no, it was, like, halfway through 2020, there was the protests going on, you know, so that kind of was, like, an awakening for me. Just, like, how the world is, like, such a fucked up place, and, like, kind of really brings me back to, you know, the abuse that I did experience, and then, like, getting really mad about the patriarchy and, like, the experience with my dad, and then getting really, really mad at, like, men. And I was angry for a really, really long time, like, during 2020, but I started playing my music again, and, you know, just doing acoustic covers and posting it online. And my friend Van Bates, he found me and he saw my videos and he just, like, loved it, and he, like, sent me beats, and he really got me out of my slump of, like, not doing music, you know? So it was 2019 with the breakup, and then partying, and then the protest, and it was, I think I was coming out of the Saturn return thing, you know, like, I think I've talked to you about it. I know I've talked to, like, Sundari about it a little bit, but all of that was, like, flipped my world upside down, you know? And so then I came back to music, and he got me out of, you know, I was just playing covers. He sent me beats. I didn't really like start writing to them till a few months later. And yeah, sorry, lost my train of thought. But
yeah, you're going through all this, and then
so I started writing to his beats, and then I got diagnosed with cancer in 2021.
Just to top it all off.
The cherry on top.
Yeah.
It was stage 3 melanoma skin cancer.
Wow.
I had like a growth on my arm. It was just a mole, and then it started getting bigger. And I was like, that's kind of weird. And then it got bigger. And then I was like, okay, I should go get that checked out. And I did, and they biopsied it. And usually they're like, usually it's benign, but we'll just check it just in case. And I went to Vegas with my homegirls, and girls trip, we did a bunch of mushrooms and tripped out, and that was its own awakening experience, because we went to Meow Wolf, and that is its own interactive art experience. And it's I definitely learned a lot on that trip. But I remember at one point I was like, oh yeah, just me and my tumor are gonna go to Meow Wolf right now. I made this dumbass joke, and my friends are like, shut up, Sally, you don't know if it's cancer. And then on the ride home, I checked my voicemail, and the doctor was like, Sally, can you call us back, please? We need to discuss our next steps, And I was like, that doesn't sound good. And then then there was another voicemail, please call us back at your earliest convenience. Thanks, bye. I was like, oh my God. I was like, I was tripping out this whole weekend and partying, fuck.
Yeah.
But yeah, so then that was another existential crisis on top of everything. And then a month after that, Van, who gave me the beats and was trying to introduce me to cult music media and all his friends, then he passed away. And that was really unexpected. And that was just another fucking blow, because I remember when I got diagnosed, he was like, we're gonna get through this together, don't worry about it. And then a month later, he was gone, and so that was really fucking hard. That was hard on a lot of people, not just me, and not just with what I was going through. He was just he touched so many lives and was so supportive of everyone. So
wow.
That was just another fucking blow, Life really was oh, you know what? I don't think you've had enough, Here's one more thing.
Suffer.
Yes.
Jeez, man.
So
I'm starting to realize that's really what this is all about, man. It's how much suffering can you handle?
Yeah. Yeah. And even so, and then I kind of blew past all of this, in between protests and getting diagnosed with cancer, I started doing OnlyFans because I needed to make even more money.
Because why not?
Yeah. And so did OnlyFans. And so I guess that would be going back to your question.
Link in bio. No,
yeah. Link in bio. So I think going back to your question earlier, that was another thing that got me comfortable on camera being nude, but that was a later experience than the sun bath or the milk bath photo shoot.
Yeah. So did you get into it because you needed money? Is that what you were saying?
Yeah, I was doing a lot of stuff during that time. I don't want to be too self-incriminating, but I was hustling, as some like to say.
Yes.
And then my friend, someone I was protesting with, she was doing OnlyFans, and she was like, yeah, it's good fucking money, at least side money or whatever. And so I got into it, and I was always into doing some modeling with Swazo and stuff. So
yeah.
And then I got into OnlyFans, got into some interesting situations with that.
Ooh, really? Some stalkers and shit, or what?
No, just learning experiences, I guess.
Okay.
Interesting messages, but it's parasocial relationships are really fucking weird,
Yeah, I saw that firsthand with a lot of my other girlfriends, and family members. I don't want to put anybody on blast. But,
Yeah.
but yeah, I saw that. You know, a lot of people got into it around that time. Like,
Yeah.
oh, fuck it, why not?
Well, no one was like, we had the fucking time. You know, it's like
Yeah.
we're gonna go to protest. We're gonna fucking get back on our phones and masturbate. Like, you know, like let's take
Might as well get
mushrooms
money,
too, and like
pay for
and
it.
let's fucking party. Like
Yeah.
everyone was wilding, for sure.
I almost got into webcamming at one point.
Yeah.
You know, this is kind of weird, but I always wanted to get into porn ever since I was like young. I
Yeah.
thought that was kind of cool.
I feel like everyone has that in the back of their mind.
Yeah,
you know? It's
yeah, like, why not?
I can be a porn star.
Yeah.
I can just have sex all day. Like, you know, like I think everyone like fantasizes about that for sure. But it's a lot of fucking work, you know, like I came to a point where I was like, why am I doing all this fucking promotion just to sell some fucking nudes when I could be making music and using these photos to promote my music? Because I wanted to, like, you know, once Instagram started having the music option, I was like, man, that's what I need to put my fucking music on here. You know, like, why the fuck am I not doing that shit? So yeah, at a certain point I was like, this shit's fucking dumb. Like, you know, and so that's why a lot of my stuff today for Mami Blush, like, incorporates a lot of, like, implied sexuality, you know. It's not like in your face, like, here's my fucking ass crack, you know, but it's like, it's definitely very implied and like pushing boundaries a little bit, because why the fuck not? You know?
I like that. I like that about your art and your personality.
Thank you.
For sure.
You've seen the evolution though too, so I feel like you can appreciate it a little more.
Oh god.
Where some people might just be like, why the fuck is she posting a picture like that?
Yeah, no, I get it. I'm like, that's Sally. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so I want to know, like, what was the day like when you're like, yeah, I'm quitting OnlyFans, like, this is ridiculous. Like, what was that really like?
Well, it was kind of like an on and off relationship. So I think that was the first one where I was like, this is fucking dumb, you know? And then I turned my promo Insta page into like a meme page, just like very inappropriate fucking memes, like the most dumbest, grossest shit I could find. And then I had people sending me memes too. So it turned into a meme page for a little bit, not like on OnlyFans, but just my Insta page for it. And then I got a boyfriend in like 2022, and he was kind of interested in it, and I was like, well, let's make an OnlyFans again, you know? And so I made a new one and started promoting it, and one of the pictures, someone took a screenshot of it, sent it to my baby daddy, and he posted it on his social media, and all of our mutual friends and family saw it, and I was like, so that was the real tipping point, breaking point. When he did that, I was like, you know what? Fuck you, fuck everyone. No one gets any of this anymore. But then I, like, you know, took him to court, and like that was a long process. So I just, you know, I did not have the capacity to do that anymore, you know, for that at least. But I was like, but I can still channel it into my music a little bit, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was definitely the absolute breaking point. I was like, no, I'm never doing this again.
Interesting. Yeah, because it's like public, but to a certain extent. So like you just didn't like the fact of it being public without your permission, pretty much.
Yeah, and it's like kind of like, it was like kind of defamatory, you know, because it's one thing to post about it and be like, hey, follow this person I know, you know, and like promote their page or help their page or whatever, you know. But he was like, choose your baby mama wisely and stuff, and I was like, and that's the thing is that he knew about it from the very beginning, but I think it was just because I was dating someone new, you know, and like tying back into the abuse. Like, I have a theory, you know, this is hearsay, but like because he couldn't hurt me physically anymore, it was like one more way for him to have control of me or keep me under his thumb, you know, in a way. And in a way it worked because I did get rid of it, you know, but in another way it didn't, because now I just post fucking inappropriate pictures on my music page for free.
Horny on the main.
Yeah.
As they say. Yeah, I mean, I guess it kind of like fueled you into becoming a different Shameless.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Much more, like you took the power back.
Yeah.
In a different way.
You kind of have to in those situations, you know, when people try and like bring you down, like, you have to just take the power back. I mean, I have that in one of my songs, like, I am taking my power back, like, and I want people to repeat that when they're singing the song, you know, so they feel it too. And I have another song I'm like in the process of writing, but it's like, I'm a bimbo, I'm a slut, I'm a hoochie mama, I'm a cunt. And it's like taking the power back of those words. Like, you can call me those things, but it doesn't hurt me because I call myself those things, and like, it doesn't offend me, you know? It makes me feel powerful. Yeah, I'm a fucking bitch, you know?
Yeah.
What are you gonna do about it? Does it make you feel uncomfortable? It should, you know? Tell me more about how you feel, you know?
Yeah, like, tell me how you feel.
Yeah. So, I don't know.
Funny way to open up the music video, like you're just like a therapist or something, like, yeah, I'm a dumb bitch. How does that make you feel? You should just make a song called I'm a dumb bitch. I'm a dumb bitch.
I mean, we all need that song because we all need a reminder.
Oh yeah. Fuck yeah. I tell myself
that was a dumb bitch move.
Like, God, you're a fucking idiot. Why'd you do that?
Yeah.
No, that's cool. That's cool. I like that. All right. And then so how did you overcome the cancer? How did that?
So cancer, I definitely had to do the whole cancer journey. I didn't have to do radiation. I did a different treatment called immunotherapy, and it's still administered like IV, how radiation is, but it like disperses through your system using your immune system. But in turn, your immune system gets really, really weak while that's happening. And I had to do that once a month for a year. I think it was 13 months that I had to do it. So it was just right over a year. Yeah, basically we had to do that because, so they biopsied the tumor, it ended up being cancer. Then they had to go in and like remove more of it in this area, but they also had to check in my lymph to see if it traveled. And there was like a microscopic amount that they did find in my lymph. So they're like, once it's in your lymph, that's like stage 3, I'm pretty sure.
Wow.
So, yeah, that's why they're like, well, to get rid of it, these are our options. And they did have an option where I could do immunotherapy. And it was a research study of doing it mixed with radiation. But you would be a part of a study group, so you don't know if you were getting the double treatment or just the immunotherapy, you know? So I was like, I think I'll let you experiment on someone else.
Yeah,
you know, like if I can skip radiation and keep my hair, like I will.
Yeah.
And if I get cancer again, then maybe I'll do radiation next time or something, you know, like. And then, yeah, that's another fear, like, you know, so I've overcome it this time, but it's like anyone who's had cancer, it's like, you know, it can always come back. It can manifest in a different form or a different part of your body, you know? So it's like, just trying to keep my stress levels down and like, trying to stay healthy, stay fit, eat good. I lost a lot of weight during that time because my appetite disappeared. And so a lot of weight just like melted off of me. And like, even if I smoked weed, like, I would still have to force myself to eat, you know? And then lowering my immunity during COVID and like worrying about cancer, like I got COVID a few times too. So like lost some of my smell and some of my taste, and like that's come back a little bit, but it's not fully there, you know? And I still, like I get sick pretty easily, but I've been off of treatment for a year, 2 years, 2 years.
Nice.
Maybe. I'm like so bad with time. I think, yeah, 2022 I finished up. So yeah, now it's 2024. So it's been 2 years. I've been off treatment. And so since I've been off, like I said, been working out, trying to gain muscle and like eating better, like I said, but it's definitely a journey. Like my body's just like, okay, so when I was doing OnlyFans, I was like 175, 80 pounds, and I was like way more weight on me, you know, and I thought I was the hottest shit. And, like, now I'm like super fit, like after having cancer, and like I'm way hotter now, but I'm just like, I was like, man, I had such confidence back then. Like, what the fuck?
You're like, damn, why can't I do OnlyFans?
I guess I've just always thought I was hot.
Hey, you know.
You gotta be your biggest fan, you know?
Yeah. I'm sure that confidence is what's played a huge role in, you know, you being an artist all these years, for sure. And being strong, I guess, you know, to go through all these crazy things, you know. But when you were going through the cancer, did you find yourself at any point like going back to God and like talking to God, or was it all just like, I'm gonna just do this on my own?
It was just so much. I always come back to the word existentialism. Like, so I had like survivor's guilt of, you know, surviving an abusive relationship, and then I had survivor's guilt of cancer, and like I lost so many friends like between 2019 and 2021, and like I made it and they didn't, you know. So it was kind of the existentialism that kind of like I guess I wasn't praying, but it was just it made me put a little more faith in the universe, I guess, you know. And I guess that's my form of religion. Like, I don't call it God, I call it the universe, you know. And I'm like, the universe has my back. It always has my fucking back every single time. It always fucking has. Even if it doesn't go my way, you know, like, it always turns out okay. And I just have to remember that. And again, that goes back to like, I guess, the 1 Corinthians 10:13, you know. So it's still like, I'm still spiritual, but it's just like, it's a different context for me now. You know, it's more, it goes back to what I said about with my mom saying it's personal, it's inside, you know. So I think all that existentialism really brought me to myself, and like I feel like the universe is like, we are the universe experiencing ourselves or itself, you know. I think you've probably seen that online before, like, but that quote really is like, I've been thinking about that a lot lately, like, and that's why we see reflections of ourselves in other people, and like, that we're just the universe experiencing itself in a different timeline, in different form, you know. It's like really trippy to think about that way. And that brings me back to what you said about God, like sacrificing his son as like an apology, you know. Like, that was kind of cool. I feel like kind of ties into how I kind of view the universe, you know.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. Yeah, funny. I was actually just thinking that the other day. I think about that from time to time, like how weird that really is, like where God experiencing itself or whatever, the universe experiencing itself. Because somebody said it this way, where it's like, if you are this supreme being, right, then really you're the only thing that exists. And so like God created us as like an illusion for it to feel like it's not alone.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
That's fucking weird.
Yeah, so it's sad. So like God is
like we really are just the main character in our own story. And like and then we're just side characters in everyone else.
I know, that's so funny.
And then and then did you ever play The Sims?
Yeah, well, no.
Did that ever make you feel like playing God, kind of?
Kind of. I wasn't into it. My cousins and brothers were into it. I thought it was super boring.
Essentially, it is. It is pretty boring.
Yeah, that was a little before my time, because you're a little older than me.
Yeah.
So I was like, my older cousins and brothers, like they loved it. And I was like, can we go outside?
Let's go do something.
Yeah.
It's so fucking boring.
Yeah. Yeah, they loved it. They're like, I'm gonna make him cook or like something. I'm like, what? What are we doing?
We could be actually
I
cooking.
know. But I know what you mean. Yeah, like the whole simulation theory and everything.
Yeah.
But it is a weird thing, like, if that is true, like, we're all just, like, little reflections of God, because, like, that means, like, God is, like, frantically, like, making sure that we proliferate and, like, populate, because, like, if we all disappear, then God's going to be, like, back left with its own self.
Yeah.
And be like, fuck, like, I'm just here forever. But it's like, where the fuck did that thing come from, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, where did God come from?
Well, and then I've really been, like, with, like, you know, aliens are real and stuff kind of thing. I'm like, the aliens are fucking God, you know? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know why that sticks in my brain so much, but I'm like, we're just like, we want to know so bad what's out there. And it's gotta be God, you know? But it's fucking aliens, bro. Like, we're the aliens and they're the aliens and we're just all fucking here. Like, I don't know. It's just fucking, it's such a trip to think about. Like, I guess that kind of goes back to existentialism too. Like, and I have to like bring myself out of it sometimes because like I can get like I do have clinical depression, and so like and going through all that, but I had it before cancer, before the breakup. Like I just never dealt with it. I was partying, you know, and so I think going through all that and then coming back to music and just writing it all out and like singing and like was really the only way to express it because I couldn't talk about it in person, you know. Even right now it's like it's kind of hard to talk about, but I would make like posts like updating my health and stuff, and like that was kind of the only way for me to get it out, to update people, and then music like let me express how I was actually really feeling and how scared I was.
Wow.
Sorry, I think I kind of got off on subject right now, but
No,
it's like just thinking about it and like existentialism, man. Like I have to, like I said, I have to pull myself out of it because then I can get into like a really deep, dark place sometimes, you know?
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah, like sometimes you just sit there and you take like an account of like all the suffering you've been through, and like it can cause you to spiral sometimes, you know?
Yeah.
I do that sometimes too. Like, damn, like people really fucked me over, you know? Like, I've really been betrayed by some motherfuckers, you know?
Yeah, I was having a hard few months, and I was getting like really paranoid, and I think it was just I was smoking stizzy pens. Like, and this was this year, like, this is like a recent thing, and I was just getting paranoid about a lot of stuff, and I like cut out stizzies for right now, but I'm writing this new song to this new beat, and it's like the electronic kind of dancey stuff. Like I experimented with one of those songs this year, but I'm writing another one, but this beat maker, and his name's Hello Satan. So, and that's kind of a funny story too, how we got connected. That was just online, and then I'm like, sure, I'll make music with you, Satan, you know? But he sent me this beat, and usually his are kind of like dark dance, you know, like kind of scary, almost spooky. But this one, he's like, this is kind of a different vibe. It's kind of like upbeat, and it's called Happy Mouse, but it's so fucking upbeat. And I was like, what the fuck am I gonna write to this? But I like the challenge, you know? I like capturing a moment, a feeling, no matter how weird it is, and just running with that for the song, you know?
Yeah.
But I like started writing this song called Happy, and it's so basic and it's sappy, and it's just really reveling in that feeling. But like I said, I was having a hard few months, just feeling bitter and paranoid and just like isolating myself. And then I started writing this song, and it started off as a joke, like, oh, you know, it's easy to be happy. You can choose to be happy. You just fucking smile, you know, like coming from like a depressed person's point of view. Like, I hate hearing that. And it started sarcastic, but then it also kind of formed into like a serious song, and it like kind of changed my mood, like from the past few months that I was having. And I was just like, actually, it is that easy. Like I can just be happy sometimes, like just stop being a fucking bitter bitch, Sally.
Yeah.
But
that's amazing. I'm glad you had that revelation.
Yeah. But like I had to like force myself to write that song that's, like I said, started off sarcastic, and then it like actually did kind of like force me to be happy.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I'm really excited to release that one, but that'll be in 2025.
Okay. We won't be happy until then.
Yeah. You guys have to suffer some more.
Suffer more. It's cool when you like hear stuff like that, because when you see the bigger picture, you can see, I guess the universe, God working, it's like when we're in it, it's like we just see the process, but when you like zoom out, you're like, oh wow, like, yeah, like you were forced in a way to realize the simple truth through the process of it.
Yeah.
But okay, yeah, I mean, so you're a cancer survivor now, a traumatic relationship survivor. You've gone through so much. You're a mom now, a very successful mom, I would say.
I try, yes, I try to be humble about that, but before music, that's my main priority, but I try to keep that a little more private as much as I can. I still have like a personal Instagram and stuff, and we share like our milestones and stuff.
Yeah,
and
as you
holidays.
should. You should be happy and proud of your kids and stuff. For sure.
Yeah.
Okay. In closing, I want to talk a little bit about when we reconnected.
Yes.
And like what that did for you.
Yes.
Because we've always been homies, but there was a large chunk of time where we didn't really, hang out or anything.
Yeah.
But then last year, I believe late last year, I got into my personal healing and going through all of that. And then I put together my first ever breathwork event.
Yeah.
And
I want to say it was like this day last year.
No way.
It was like a day before New Year's or 2 days before New Year's or something.
Shit.
It was like very close. It's like very close to the anniversary of that reconnection.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize.
Yeah. I was thinking about that the other day. I was like, that was like right, but it wasn't New Year's, but it was like a day or two before New Year's. Yeah.
Epic. Yeah. So I was going through my healing, and then I put together that event, and then I hit you up and I was like, hey, I'm doing this thing. Like, if you want to come hang out, come check it out. And to my understanding, you had never done breathwork before. So, and we reconnected then, and then we've pretty much been, getting closer. Like that brought us back, like closer. That event, we've been hanging out more and stuff. And so yeah, just tell the people a little bit about like what that event did for you and like how it played a role in what you've been up to now.
Yeah. So that event was really interesting. We had brought up our mutual friend Sydney, and she had just come back from like a healing journey that she went on with like medicinal medicine or is that medicinal psychedelics and stuff.
Okay, yeah.
So medicinal medicine. That's so fucking dumb.
You probably meant to say like indigenous medicine or something.
Yeah. And so she was telling me about that, and then you had sent me the breathwork thing, and I was like, hey, do you want to go to this breathwork thing? Like, I know you just, maybe it'll be something that you're into, and I'm just kind of like, I'm not sure about it, but so I'd like to go with like a friend. And so she came with me, and that's my first time doing breath work, and like I wore some ridiculous outfit. I don't know why. I just was like, I want to dress up, and like I wore like a pink wig, a pink beanie, like I don't know what this is, and like I was like, I think there might be dancing. I don't fucking know, but like I also just want to dress up and be fun tonight, So
yeah.
But then we started doing the breath work, and that was an experience all in itself. Like at the time I didn't know what I was experiencing, but like it's kind of been shown to me, like, and explained to me like throughout the year, and like what happened, like that night. And like so first of all, like Ivan, when he was leading the ceremony, he was like, or think of the thing that you want to focus on, like whether it be like financial abundance or just general abundance or whatever, you know. And like the day before that happened, I was manifesting like so much music stuff. Like I was like, I want to record more, I want to perform more, I want to collab, and I want to like do more music videos, and like I want to network more. Like that's summarize what it was, but that was on my mind like the whole entire fucking time. And like we did the breath work in front of mostly strangers. I knew you and Sydney only, pretty much. And Aswaza was there for a little bit too, so I knew him. But everyone else, room full of strangers. And then afterwards, we were like connecting and eating and like drinking some tea and stuff. And I played some music for you guys. I just did like an acoustic, one of my songs on acoustic. And and then you were like, oh, did you know Roxy's a manager? And I was like, no way. I'm like, I'm actually looking for a manager. And I was like, how is the manifestation coming to fruition like so fast already? Like the networking and like the music connection and like that night, I think we started talking about a show that she was planning, and I was like, oh my God, like what the fuck is happening? It's not even 2024 yet, and like all my manifestations came to fruition. And like I didn't know how to explain how powerful that night was for the longest time, and I still don't really know, but I heard this on a podcast the other day where it's like, if you like tap into your manifestation or you meditate, you like, it's like you bring power to your manifestation like times 100 or something. And then if you meditate with like another person, it like brings that power up to like 1,000 or something. And we were in a room full of people meditating together, powerful breathwork meditation where like it's like making our bodies like convulse, like, and no drugs, you know. It's just like, what? It was so powerful. And so once I heard that on that podcast, I was like, oh, that's what happened. That's why it was so fucking powerful that night, because it was like, what, 20 people maybe? Like
around there,
yeah. And we did the breath work, then we did the sound healing, and like we were just all so connected at once. And that's how like was the trajectory of 2024. And like I've been non-stop ever since. Like with like it's just been, it was like such a blessing in disguise. And like it was something I didn't know I needed. And it's not like I do breath work every day or like even all the time. I think I've only done it one other time since then, and like it was really heavy and intense then too. But it was every single time, it's something that I needed. And because when I meditate without breath work, just trying to meditate, I can't not think of things. I can't get to that meditative state. So I think the breathing helps me like just focus on breath and not anything else, like the stresses in my mind or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
Because my mind, anxiety, depression, just like, you know, constantly in my head, constantly. It's probably why I can write songs so good, because I'm like, I got to get this out, you know? But the breath work, it was just so powerful. And it was something, I made a lot of connections that night, and maybe not all of them lasted so long, but I think the universe really brought things into my life that I needed and took away things or people that no longer served me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It was a powerful thing, man. It really was. And it was an honor to see all of you, you know, blossom from that.
Yeah.
Because everybody had their own little thing right after that. Like crazy. Like we were talking about Sydney before this. Like I met her the first time that night, and then we all kind of hung out again. And then she's a mom now, first time mom. Yeah. And like, it's just crazy. Everybody had such a blossom.
And Roxy had her, like with her shows, she's still doing shows and stuff. So like that's super cool. And she's been like connected with so many musicians. Like, like all of our manifestations really came to life. And it's
Sundari with Soma.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So cool to see.
I know. Lauren was asking me to put together another one before the year ends. I mean, we don't have time anymore. Year's going to be over like 2 days, but
we can still do something at least maybe in the beginning of the year. Like,
just
get
I would love
together,
to
chit chat and stuff.
I'd be honored to organize that again for everybody and maybe bring in some new people. Now that we all know the power of it, bring in 1 or 2 new people. And I didn't even know what was going to happen. I was just the organizer, I was like, well, and I guess, I'll put it together, whatever, but I was like, whoa, just shocked by like, how quickly like things manifested for everybody.
Yeah.
But, wow.
That was definitely a spiritual experience. Almost made me believe in God again.
Almost. We'll get her next time.
I still call it the universe, but
The universe.
Yeah.
I mean, so I guess I want to ask you that too before we close. It's like, because your story with God is an interesting one because most people are like forced into it, but you're saying you brought that on yourself, and which is powerful. For as a child, a young person to like want that and like not being forced into it, and so you kind of, I guess, strayed or disconnected or whatever, and so like now you have that disconnect. Do you feel like that disconnect is because you have some bitterness, or is it more because like you just like fell into like a more existential humanitarian viewpoint?
I think maybe a little bit of both. There's definitely bitterness. Like I said, like my dad was into drugs, but then he like got addicted to God, and then that's kind of how I viewed it. Anyone who was like that into it. And then like, the protests and like Christian nationalism, like really reignited my hatred for man-made religion, and again, it's not that I don't have faith or that, I don't believe in that there's something bigger out there than myself, but it's just like, I almost think that the religion is the evil thing. In some aspects, I said, the community part was great, but the shame, the guilt, like the control, that's what I'm against, and like, again, it goes to the patriarchy, and I always say I'm like trying to raise the matriarchy, and people think that I hate men, and like, but it ties into religion, and it ties into like being like anti-government, and like, I'll probably be on a terrorist watch list after this, but like, if I wasn't already, and like, it's in my music too. If you haven't heard it, like, I say fuck the patriarchy and stuff all the time, but that's what it's all tied to. And like, I think, I don't know if I posted something, and it was like the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost, and this dude was like, the Holy Ghost is actually a woman that the church hid for a long time, and that's the matriarchy, but the patriarchy has been hiding it this whole time. And that's the feeling that I feel. I'm like, there has to be a different way of doing things than how the patriarchy has been doing things for so long, so why don't we just try a different way? It's not that I hate men, and like, people are like, well, what about a balance? I was like, well, it's been imbalanced for a really long time, so let's try it the other way, and then we'll get back to a balance, but like, that's kind of where my viewpoint is with that. And like, but no, it's not that I hate men, and I don't hate, like my friends who are Christian, like I respect their viewpoints and stuff. And like, I just, please don't shove it down my throat, because like, that makes me feel very uncomfortable.
Shove it down my throat,
like,
daddy.
I already know, I already know.
I can see you doing like some kind of like, I don't know, meme or joke about that, like, shove your religion down my throat, daddy.
It's gonna happen soon now.
I get that. I respect that. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, mankind has fucked it all up for so long, and religion is a weird and dogmatic thing. And I try to tell people that too through my work. I'm called a Satanist all the time and all this shit. And it's like, dude, like, people fail to realize like the universe exists without the Bible. You know, like you can take away all religions, the universe still exists. We still exist. We still have to account for and cope with the fact that we are here.
Yeah.
That we're fucking alive and we don't know where the fuck we came from or where we're going and what this is all about. Like, this experience still exists separate from religion and man-made thought, you know, so I definitely understand that, and the struggle and the angst of trying to get people to understand that, like, we can still love each other without religion, you know, we can still be good people without religion. But it just plays an important role, I think, in understanding our lineage, really, more than anything. You know, I think religion for me is more really understanding our lineage as people, as humans on this earth, because in a way it preserves what matters to us, you know, as a human family. But all right, cool, yeah, like, okay, I guess my last question, because you do talk about the patriarchy a lot, and I agree, like, us men, we fuck shit up a lot, you know? And you know what's funny is, actually, prior to my breathwork event, I took it upon myself to really start to heal my wounded masculine, my toxic masculinity, and started to really, like, actually in my mind view women differently. You know, and like try to clean my mind, like, of the perversion. And when I started doing that, like healing and meditating and doing that, like, a lot more women entered my life, you being one of them, like re-entering my life a lot. And I was like, cool. And for the first time in my life, I had so many awesome women around me that I wasn't thinking about in a perverse way. And that was powerful. And I think it's a thing that a lot of us men need to do. And so
I think that night too, also, you know, I was actually really pissed off at my dad that night. And I think even at the Airbnb, you guys were like asking, like, what's something you guys, you know, want to work on? And I was like, I want to ask for help easier. But really, I was like really stuck on this issue with my dad. And I think, you know, those times really helped me heal that wound a little bit too. Because like you said, brought women into your life. This year, I've had more help from men than really anyone, you know. There was a lot of help from women too, but I was just like, it really opened my eyes to, like, yeah, it's not men that I hate, it's the power of the patriarchy, which is government, religion, and it's not necessarily men, but it's the patriarchy, you know. And so thank you for bringing that up, because that reminded me that, like, that also happened this year after all that meditation and breath work too. So
yeah, awesome. Yeah, I guess my last question would be, like, what as men can we do better to help the women?
I think just, you know, not being afraid of your emotions. It's not like, it's not about ego. It's okay to be vulnerable. Like, there's power in tears, like, and I don't know. I think women appreciate, like, someone who is in touch with their emotions, you know, especially, like, in this transition of, like, I don't know, there's definitely, like, I don't even know how, I don't want to call it an awakening, but there's just, like, a different vibe going on. Maybe it's, like, moving into the age of Aquarius or whatever, but, like, I think just, you know, it's not about, like, sure, if you're about being, like, powerful and strong, like, that's cool too, but it's like, it's okay to get deep about things and, like, I don't know, just
Soften up a little bit.
yeah, don't be afraid to open up. Yeah, being authentic, just being yourself. You don't have to put on a front, you know. But, and in turn, that'll help create a safer space for women to want to open up with you too, you know. So
I love it.
yeah.
I love it. Well,
That's just off the dome, but
No, yeah, I love it. It's a great message. I think a lot of men need to hear that. Yeah.
yeah.
Because I face that in my own life with the men in my life. Like I like to think that I've done a lot of healing. I'm a reformed version of myself. I'm not done yet, but
Yeah.
I can see it in my own life. A lot of the men in my life are like just so hardened up. But it's funny because as soon as they're drunk, their guards down, they start crying and hugging.
Yeah.
I love you, bro. You know what I mean? But as soon as
So
they're
true.
sober again, I didn't say any of that gay shit. What do you mean? You know? But we got the leaf blower coming, so we're gonna wrap this
Let's
up.
wrap it up.
Love you.
Love you.
Thank you.
Good talk.
I'm gonna put all your links in the bio.
Yes.
Let
link in
people
bio.
know where they can
Link
follow
in bio.
you or
no
anything you want.
OnlyFans, but link
No
in bio.
But yeah, let them know anything that you want to like promote or plug in.
Just follow me everywhere on at Mami Blush, which is spelled MAMI space BLUSH. Just the regular way to spell blush. Some people type it in like MAMMY. It's not that kind of mommy, although you can still call me that. No.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Mami Blush music, and yeah, Spotify is just regular Mami Blush music
Awesome.
stuff. Yep.
You know what it is. Thank you. Please follow her. Links in bio. We love you.
Deuces.
Peace. We did it.
We did it. Thank you.
Thank you.